Behold, the most AI-generated movie made by man ever created, Avatar 3, Fire and Ash. Okay, I need to spew this out quick because I could feel the memory of Avatar, Fire and Ash leaving my brain with each passing minute. The Avatar franchise has this strange Men in Black-like effect where I know people have seen the movies, someone has to be watching them, they're making all kinds of money, and yet nobody can tell me anything about these movies. Gun to my head, if you asked me what actually happened in Avatar 2, I'd mutter something about a whale before my brain matter painted the wall. Even the people who claim to like these movies, I feel like don't know anything about them. So for the third movie, I was praying to Iwa for the story to go in a more interesting direction because I am not an avid Avatar fan. In fact, I'm pretty indifferent to it as a franchise. So indifferent, in fact, that my indifference has turned into a mild irritation, which then became rage, and suddenly I hate the Avatar franchise. With this new movie coming out and it focusing on this new fire tribe type of psychotic looking Na'vi, it kind of looked interesting. I was expecting this movie to explore a new side of Pandora, much like the second one did with the water tribe. No, the other Avatar water tribe. It's confusing. Water tribe. Sadly though, the fire people hardly play a role in this movie, instead taking a backseat to, come on, the same generic military villain from the last two movies. I don't know why they keep trying to make this guy like the Darth Vader of the Avatar series, but I think he's such a dull, archetypical, boring character. Which, hey, turns out to be a trend in this movie, but let me slow down. Avatar Fire and Ash follows super iconic and memorable character. Do you remember his name? That was a test. His name is Jake Sully, and his new family after being accepted into the water tribe, stumbling into a new set of obstacles to overcome and... Oh? What's that? No new obstacles? The same ones from the other movies? Oh, so pterodactyls attacking helicopters, whales flopping on boats, just that kind of stuff, more of that. Well, that doesn't sound very interesting, does it? Avatar 3 does not focus on fire and or ash. Instead, it chooses to focus on the fucking whales again. Hope you like that in the second movie, because it's a lot more of that. It makes the movie feel less like an expansion of the franchise into new horizons and just like backpedaling. Avatar 3 feels like Way of Water DLC, with the fire tribe just acting like a new enemy type more than anything else. To its credit, the movie does try to do something different with... Do you remember his name? Come on, I know you've seen the first two. Quaritch. But even that plot point feels really rushed and comes completely out of nowhere. The most interesting part of this movie to me was this new fire Na'vi villain leader chick, and not for obvious reasons.
Look at that side boob.
No, she's a cool leader who's super underutilized and then completely betrayed by the script she's in. She starts out really intimidating and powerful until Quaritch shows up and is like, hey, here's an idea. What if I'm the boss of you? See, you're a lady and I'm a man and I should be in charge. And she's like, okay. And I'm like, what? So instead of delving into a cool new villain you have sitting right in your lap, you go back to playing with the old, busted, boring fucking villain that you used over and over again already, who, by the way, we've established cannot die because of cloning, meaning that nothing he says or does even matters because they can just bring him back again. Ah! Okay, let's relax. How's the Sully family? Is there anything cool going on with them? Yeah, actually. Turns out all of them are the chosen one. What do you mean? I thought Jake was the chosen one because he could fly the... Do you remember it? Do you remember the name? That's right. Big Bird thing. How can his kids also be the chosen ones is? Well, you see, one of his kids is seen as an outcast until they're given a special power that allows them to defy their culture, but also to build bridges between the Na'vi and other life forms. And oh, sorry, did I say one? I meant all. All of the kids go through this. Where to begin? Let's start with the 76-year-old Sigourney Weaver playing a teenager. Strange choice. Takes me out of it. Constantly. I know she's a clone, but just recast. She sounds and looks and acts like Sigourney Weaver. It's distracting that their angsty teenage messiah daughter sounds like an older woman. The surviving Jake Sully's son is angsty as ever and would prefer to hang with the whales and chat with his dead brother in the Matrix than hang with his family. You see, he's trying to prove himself to his dad as a soldier, and his dad doesn't accept him because... Actually, I don't know. They fought together in the last movie, right? I mean, what more do you want from this kid? He's probably the child I have the least amount of problems with, and I can see him carrying the Sully name into the future. You know, he actually has a bit of a character, unlike some of these other kids, even if he is just kind of generic, rebellious teen kid. This movie also revolves heavily around Spider, a human being raised as Na'vi who's given the ability to breathe the Na'vi air and hair sex their animals, because the spirit god allows that now. I don't have a problem with that. It seems like a natural progression of human integration with the Na'vi. It gives humans an actual way to viably live on the planet they're so excited about terraforming. But this movie starts like right after two ends, which I feel like is a missed opportunity for like a time skip, you know, maybe to show that Pandora is evolving his body in some kind of way over time. But no, it just kind of comes out of nowhere a little bit. It was interesting, probably one of the more interesting parts of this movie, even if it was completely pulled out of their blue lion tail ass. By the way, remember how Spider was captured by the humans and his dad was the general guy and they have problems because of that? You know, they put him in a lab and do experiments on him and stuff. Yeah, we just do that again. Cool. How about the Papa Bear himself, the iconic movie protagonist Jake Sully and his iconic movie weapon, gun. Jake sucks so fucking much. He's a typical brick-headed rah-rah Marine type character who's unnecessarily a hard ass. You would think Pandora would have softened him up a bit, have him become a little more spiritual or less focused on violence, more integrating into respecting the land and looking for other avenues for peace. Nope, he's just the same dipshitted Marine guy from the first movie. He sucks as a father. There's a moment where his son is talking to him after he finally opens up to his dad, saying something like, "All I want is your respect." And instead of the obvious father layup of, "You always had it," or "I'm proud of you for who you are," or something, instead he goes, "You have proven yourself to me." Like he's a fucking middle manager on a power trip giving an end-of-year review. He also comes damn near close to committing a super heinous act in this movie that him even considering as an option is horrific, and makes him completely irredeemable in my eyes. Him and Neytiri both. He almost goes full Old Testament on our asses, and it's just not heroic. These are not the actions of a hero that I want to follow. Speaking of, I wish Neytiri was given a little more to do because she's a badass in whatever scene she's in. I love how rugged she's remained even in motherhood and how she's really not getting along with anyone, but still defends her people on principle. She's given all the best action and even a funny moment that stood out to me. Zoe Saldana does a great job, and I'm sure it must be super taxing to work through James Cameron's manic, obsessive, ever-evolving technology. But just, like, her delivery in some of these lines is, does she need to shriek in almost every scene she's in? It's like hissing, 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 leading up to a big shriek in, like, every dramatic scene, and I'm like, give it a rest, Zoe. So, I don't know, I'm gonna keep this quick because I'm almost certain nobody's deeply invested in my thoughts on Avatar 3 of 4. But long story short, it's more Avatar 2. If that was your jam, right on. Get in there. Hope you're front row this week with your Navi popcorn bucket in hand, fully immersed in all the splendor the world of Pandora has to offer you. But for me, it's more the same, and the same is something I didn't like. But I gave it a try though, which is pretty heroic, if you ask me. Kind of like Jesus. Merry Christmas, everyone. So what do you think about Avatar 3? Have you checked it out? Did you like the second one? Did you like the first one? Why? Anyway, if you like this, check out my other stuff, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.